Hey, I'm Ashley.
I am Bo.
My name is Adele. I've used OkCupid,
Bumble.
Bumble, Hinge, Happen, Tinder,
Bumble, and I've used Hinge.
Hinge.
Thursdays.
And Black.
And for a second, I tried eHarmony, but that shit took, the application process was just fucking ridiculous.
I'd have to say my favorite app is Hinge. I definitely get the most quality dates from Hinge and a lot less nonsense.
I don't know if I'll call them favorites, but I would say I probably use Hinge the most. I like Hinge because Bumble allows the woman to initiate the conversation, right? Something like that. So she allows the woman to initiate the conversation, which is fine. But I feel like the window of you guys talking is like,
My favorite dating app would have to be none of them. I mean, okay, yeah, with Bumble, you decide you decide who has access to you. Super cool. It gives you a sense of agency and control. But motherfuckers still ghost you. Can I say motherfucker? I'm sorry.
if I had to put it in order, I'd probably go Hinge, Bumble, Black.
Are you on Tinder? Have you seen some of the nonsense that's there?
It's like I don't have like more luck on either app. It's just the interface may be different. The questions that you get to answer in your profile are different. I don't know. I feel like Hinge is all about like brevity, and Bumble is more like the woman's app. But is it though? Is it? Jury's allowed on that one.
I'm gonna show you guys what's on my dating app profiles. This is gonna be so embarrassing.
The first picture, I feel like every picture I have on here is just a simple, like, me sitting there smiling, like, pretty clean cut.
When I was on the app, so the first time I ever got on a dating app, end of 2018, it was my first time ever getting on an app. It was OkCupid, and I lasted like 2 weeks. It was overwhelming. It was this dicks just flying in my face.
So the picture I'm looking at is one where I'm at. I have my office shirt. And even under that, it says my simple pleasures. I'm quoting The Office. Of course, I love the show. And then I say pancakes is a simple pleasure because I love pancakes. It's like really simple aspects of this thing.
So I don't put a ton of thought into the pictures I choose. Well, that's not true. I put some thought, but not really. I just try to choose pictures where I think, of course, I look attractive, but also that showcase like parts of my personality that I would want to highlight to attract the type of guy I'm trying to attract. So there is some thought that goes into it. For the most part, I like to show that I'm fun-loving, that I'm kind of goofy, and that I'm like, just full of life,
When I choose pictures for the dating app, I'm not a makeup girl. It's not to say like I never wear makeup. One, I just don't know how to put makeup on, like mascara and eyebrow pencils, like as far as this shit goes, right? But I like to show pictures of me smiling. This is what my face is gonna do most of the time around me. I'm smiling with my whole face. My eyes are tightening. My nostrils are flaring. When I laugh, my mouth is wide open. I'm wanting to evoke a spirit of joy, and laughter and joy and beauty, and like try not to be super posy in my pictures because I want you to see what my face does in real life. And I've experienced this pressure, right? Of like someone reaching out to you because of how you look online, and I never want to have the experience with someone's like, you look different in your pictures. Like, no one wants to hear that.
I'm gonna put up pictures that kind of show that, I'm not doing anything super flexy or flashy. I'm down to earth, just like everybody else. Didn't want to mislead anyone on who I am. I felt like, hey, this is what you're gonna get. You're gonna get me kind of mellowed out, relaxing. I'm not gonna sit here and have some kind of flexy, over the top, jumping from a helicopter picture. Because first off, I don't want to attract somebody I'm not compatible with. Because if somebody does skydive every weekend and they see me, they're like, let's go skydiving. I just wrote myself into something that I can't even, be compatible. So
I definitely try to include full body pictures because someone, who's always been thicker, who's currently trying to lose more weight, like it's really been an insecurity of mine. I never want to make a dating profile, meet with somebody in person, and then them feeling like I catfish them. Like, no, I want you to know there's a little extra of me to love, okay? So although I do include body pictures and some like full body shots, I try not to choose pictures that I think could be overly sexual. I feel like on dating apps, you already run across a ton of different guys who only want to hook up, and that's not what I'm using the dating apps for.
Every now and again, I'll post a picture of me like not smiling, but body shots, but nothing too provocative, because, you know, I want to put out the message that, like, you know, this is how I look, but also, and this is how I carry myself. Like, yes, I have this body, but like, you know, this is how I dress. And sometimes it is sexy cute. There's something wrong with a woman like wanting to show off her body, you know? But for me, it's all about like how I'm doing it. Because I am sexy and playful and flirty, and there's nothing wrong with putting that. Having a little sprinkle of that on the page, you know?
I don't have any shirtless pics. I don't have any fresh out the water, beach, 90210. I don't have any of that kind of stuff. You know? Like, I'm not completely against it, to each their own and all that, but that can turn into, you know, this person's not serious real quick. I feel like if I did have that, then the motive that I'm trying to show is, you know, I'm not looking for anything long term. I'm looking for something more superficial. I'm looking for something more surface level.
When I construct my dating app profile, I'm definitely thinking about the parts of myself that I want to highlight, you know, hobbies and the things that I like about myself, but that I also hope to find in like my partner. So I highlight the fact that I like to read or watch anime or play board games, because honestly, yeah, I'm a very dorky person, and I typically like men who like those things. Positivity, the fact that I'm a woman of faith, you know, that I just like to have fun, that I like to be active. So I'm a huge gym rat, but that's not something that I really highlight on my profile, because I'm not trying to attract a guy that goes to the gym. Like, I don't need that at all. That's me in my life. I don't need that in a partner.
I think the first time around, I was definitely like trying to be as elusive as possible, because I was still just trying to like navigate my way through the online dating app thing, and not wanting to be too transparent about who I am. Like, still very guarded, you know, and still wanting to put on like this air of mystery woman, you know. But the second time around, I was very like on Hinge and Bumble. Like, I definitely made sure I chose a prompt that asked the question, like, what are you looking for in a partner? Like, what's the ideal relationship for you? And being very clear on what that is.
I also do not shy away from clearly stating that I'm looking for a long-term relationship, or I'm looking for marriage, or I'm looking for a life partner to, you know, do life with. Like, I have no issue putting that on my profile. Honestly, I feel like if a guy reads that and he thinks, oh, this is too much, then you're just not the one for me.
I think it's great to put exactly what your intentions are. And if you don't, and they match with you, I think it's great to ask. I have no problem putting I'm looking for something long-term, because I'm looking for something long-term. I mean, I want to attract the people that look for the same.
You know, but it's funny, like, no matter how clear I am, and no matter how, you know, not overly sexy or scantily clad my photos are, you still get men who are like, I'm a sub looking for a dom, you know, like, you want your ass ate tonight? And you're like, did you not read my profile? Like, I just know, and men just do not read profiles, girl.
I am not shy about saying that I want a man who's ready to settle down, or that, yeah, this is what I'm looking for. I feel like growing up, we all, like, at least women, we're all taught to be a little coy, to play it a little shy, to not be so openly vulnerable about what it is you want with someone, right? We were always taught to like keep him guessing and keep him on his toes, and don't say out loud to the guy's face like, this is what I want to build a life with you, or whatever. And that's something, as I've gotten older, I definitely have really strayed far away from. I do think, of course, that not everyone deserves your open heart and like vulnerability, but some basic things as far as what it is I'm looking for, where is this going, you know, yeah, you can know that straight up front.
Is there anything I avoid putting on my profile? I mean, you don't put on your baggage, you don't put on your past, you don't put on your last relationship and how it went and how it ended. If I went to somebody's profile and they're like, "Hey, my last relationship was like this, and this is how it ended, and this is where," I think I'd kind of be like, "This is a little too much," you know. I think just like when you meet someone, you have to get comfortable with them and have a certain level of trust before you kind of let your guard down a little bit.
Is there anything I avoid putting on my profile? I try to keep it positive. You only get so many words to like express yourself and your interest in what it is you want. I figure, why waste time saying what I don't want? I never put on my profile, not looking for a guy with kids, or you need to have a job, or no hookups, please. I never put none of that. I can filter that out on my own as I meet and talk people and try to learn their intentions. Because even when I see that on a profile, I'll be reading a man's profile, no games, make sure you text back, and I'm just like, this guy, he been through it. I'll just be thinking like, wow, who hurt you, you know?
I try not to put too many of my interests, but in my experience, men, and I'm generalizing for the sake of brevity, not all men, men will pick an interest, right? And approach me from that door and try to appeal to that quirk, you know, or that interest. And I think it helps. One, I understand why people do. One, it helps kind of like ease dating anxiety. Okay, here's something we can talk about, you know. Here, you know, she's into art. I'll take her to a museum. And he's probably like hating the fucking museum experience, you know, or he's leading with what he thinks I'm into because I said I'm into art. I like for interest to come up in conversation and exploration as opposed to just like broadcasting it, because I mean, I feel like in dating in general, I mean, like before dating apps even existed, I feel like we all kind of like are allowing our representative to show up, meaning like the better self, like the quote better parts of us, which actually aren't the better parts because they're not the honest parts, right? Like if we're being honest, like it's the part of us that we present in an effort to, you know, seduce or attract, you know, or and self-protect, you know, and it's a bit of a facade, and that's why usually isn't until like 6 months or, you know, to a year where you really start to see someone like that. That representative is left the fucking building. Like this is who the person really is. And so again, going back to the dating app, when I post interest, I feel like that representative is like, I'll take that, and I'm gonna like be that guy to like show her like me too. And then a month later, they're like, I'm tired of going to museums. You want to go? Like, I thought you was in art.
The pictures that I've used on different profiles that get the most responses are probably these. I'll put them on the screen. And usually it's always the same thing. Like, oh, you have such a great smile. I love your eyes. You know, just really simple, basic compliments that aren't over the top. And that's how I like it. I really don't like when men approach me with like, oh, you so sexy. I'm sorry. That kills it for me. I do not need to hear you talk about my curves or anything like that, which is also why I kind of avoid putting up explicit photos. I don't like to get that energy from men who I don't know and who we haven't built a rapport with yet.
Dunder Mifflin one gets a lot because of the shirt, I think. I think there's a lot more Dunder Mifflin fans. There's a lot more Office fans than you think. The quote that gets the most responses, honestly, it's almost a tie between two. One is the traffic in LA. I make a quote about traffic in LA. And I think everybody that lives in LA can relate to that one. I mean, you can walk to get your mail and you'll hit traffic. Like there'll be somebody in your way. So
the prompt that got attention, I think it was the one I had on Bumble. But I think somewhere like in the what I'm looking for section, I put something to the effect of like, I don't suffer foolishness, you know, and I talked about vulnerability and how in self-awareness, like you absolutely have to be self-aware. And that's something else I avoid putting on my apps, being like, you have to be, you can't be. Like I don't put these like, you know, hard, fast, like rules and preferences of the kind of like person you have to be to approach me. I just make it a point to let you know what you getting yourself into. You know what I mean? Like I don't like this, you need to be X, Y. I'm just like, I'm deeply self-aware. I'm very vulnerable. Like that's what I lead with. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think a lot of men have found it intimidating, but who wouldn't? Vulnerability is scary. you know.
But I do have a picture of where I'm at the Grand Canyon or on my way or something like that. Like I'm standing on a highway, and I intended it to be like, hey, he's going on an adventure, or I just like the picture because it has wide open sky. But this picture always gets fanny pack like responses because I have my fanny pack on. It's something about this fanny pack. Why do you have it? Or I love it. Or what's in it? Or, you know, it just completely diverts away from the actual picture and goes straight to that. And I'm like, yeah, I do have a fanny pack on, but you know, the sky looks nice. I'm on the picture.
The picture of me on my laptop. Like, I'm just trying to show that I'm a writer and I be reading and I got a little booty. But like, you just had men, and at one, I eventually ended up taking it off my profile because it did start. I'm like, okay, like you'll see my booty in real life. I really don't need to have like the side, and it's not even as you see in the picture. It's like side profile, and it's not even like full side profile, but you see my figure. And men were just like, yo, damn, like I'm trying to slide up in that thing. I'm like, ah.
There are some prompts, like written prompts, answers to prompts that I thought were genius, that I thought were great, but they did not get the responses that I hoped. So there was this one, I think it was on Hinge, that allows you to send like a voice memo. So my text said, believe it or not. And my first thought was George Costanza from Seinfeld. Believe it or not, George isn't at home. Please leave a message at the beep. I must be out, but I picked up the phone. Like, I thought that was genius. And I sung that part of the song for this prompt, had it posted thinking, oh my God, any Seinfeld fan's gonna get it. They're gonna love it. We'll have a laugh. Crickets. Absolute crickets. Like, instead of people understanding the reference and having a laugh, I got replies saying, oh, you must have been tipsy when you did this. Oh, someone had a couple drinks tonight. You know, like, okay, whatever.
I don't know, like I'm a words girl. I'm really good with words. I'm a writer. And I think on my Hinge profile, like I geek out on like good lighting and allegory or something like that. And I felt like that it's true. It's really true. It got a lot of responses. I think it attracted the kind of men that I'm into, like, you know, the intellectuals and those who value good aesthetics, you know, responded well to that one. Only an intellectual will know what allegory is unless you're, you know, I could tell when motherfuckers like Googled it or something, you know, but I think the good lighting and allegory, because most people that I geek out on like sushi, you know, like, you know, adventures like good lighting and allegory, you know, and
another prompt that I was really proud of, because I felt like this is awesome. Like, anyone who gets these references, y'all, you are my people. You my people, you know? It's like a basic prompt to talk about yourself. I wrote a couple things about myself, and then I ended it with, and then everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked. And I just thought, oh, this is golden. Like, I did get some men that got the reference. And for me, that was like a plus. Because it's like, if you read it and you got it, automatic brownie points. Like, anybody who watched Avatar: The Last Airbender, like, you are my people, you know?
I usually like easygoing looking profile. Nothing crazy flashy. There's nothing wrong with crazy flashy, but I'm pretty easygoing. So I usually gravitate towards someone who has an easy smile, who looks like they have good values. They're with their family, or they're with their friends, and they're out. They look down to earth. They have maybe they're career oriented, something like that. Seem like they have a good head on their shoulders. Seems like they have some emotional maturity.
Advice for dating app profiles. I'm not an expert, clearly. You see how just silly my profile is. Take this with a grain of salt, but I would say don't overthink it. Try to showcase parts of your personality. Try to showcase hobbies and things that you have that are true to you, but that also will attract the type of person you usually go for. Avoid any negativity, negative comments saying what you don't want, what you don't need. Just focus on what you do, and make sure your filter, you know, when you're communicating with people, is just up there.
I think it's really important to reveal as much of your actual self as possible on a dating app. Like, it's just it's just really interesting to even see what I attracted then in 2018 when I was trying to be elusive and mysterious, you know, what I attracted then and what I attracted the second time around. And the relationship I'm in and the man I'm in partnership with. You know, my first boyfriend objectified me. And I'm not saying it's because of how I showed up on the app. I think how I showed up on the app created a standard and an expectation for someone who already kind of had issues with the objectification of women, right? You know what I'm saying? So like, I was like perfect for him, for someone like him, you know, at least so we thought. But I think it's really important to lead with authenticity. Avoid as much Photoshop and blur as possible, because that only creates insecurities within yourself. You know, like when you're pinching and cinching and blurring and Photoshopping, then when it comes time to FaceTime or meet up with someone in the daylight, you're going to have that anxiety about like, fuck, I don't look the way I looked in my pictures. That I posted a picture of me from 6 years ago. I don't look the same. You know, like I answered a question in a way that I thought would attract this kind of guy. But like now, like, you know, the jig is up, or like, you know, it's game time. And I think a lot of people tend to project what we desire, but not what's in alignment with who we are or where we are, you know? And I think that's just a dangerous game to play. And yeah, I just don't think it's a great way to start. I think it's a strong start, not a strong start.
I always try to have pictures that show my face, that show, you know, me doing an activity, or maybe me with a friend, even though, you know, you usually block out or blur out your friends so it's not confusing in a group picture. That's another like tip. If you are in a group picture, if you are with friends, blur out their faces or something so people know it's you that they're looking at. Have pictures of you smiling, you know, like whether you're a guy or a girl, I think smiling pictures, you just need smiling pictures. Nothing is more warm and inviting than a smile. So, and yeah, I don't really know if there's any other tips I could really give, because like I said, I'm not an expert. Are there any tips y'all would give me? I already feel like I'm gonna be roasted in the comments, but you know, whatever. But yeah, that's typically what I do, and things that I've had on my dating app profiles. I really try to highlight my fun-loving, goofy, dorky, nerdy side, because those are typically the type of men that I like. I like really dorky men. Dorky might be the wrong word. It's not a negative thing, especially when I say it. But yeah, you know. Oh my gosh, can't believe I just outed myself out here right now. Thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure you give it a like.
I don't even know where to look right now. Where am I looking?
There was something really fun about like having all these options. Like I was like, oh, this feels like I'm like on The Bachelorette. Like, you know, week 1, date with Jerry. Night 2, Mike, you know, just passing out roses and shit.
All right, let's go.
You want me to do it right now?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me get more excited. Just kidding.
Yeah, vulnerability. Ooh, we gotta have another video about that.
How was that, Ash?
That was good. That was good. All right, so now I'm gonna just ask
I want to do it again. I want to do that again.
Stop. All right. Is there any prompts that you wrote that you're like, this one I thought was pretty dope, so the world can be blessed by your genius, you know?
I don't remember. Oh my God. I'm like, this is like a question. But
there's so many.
All of them. No. Even my name, Hope. That shit clever.
If you had any advice for women, what kind of profiles do you like to see? Because my audience is women, so I'm gonna post yours.
Man, that's a super hard question.